We see him in a very green hoodie against Anish Giri, who's always in that business attire, and he means business in Wijk. Anish is the defending champion until this tournament ends. He's only a half-point back, so he can strike, and if he beats Jan Nepomniachtchi, he'll have great chances to win a second crown in a row.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a clash of styles. Jan, of course, has played with supreme confidence. He suffered a painful loss at the hands of Wijk, but this did not impact his confidence, immediately bouncing back with a revenge victory over the world champion. Flies in my stomach. But something tells me Anish Giri is going to keep his eyes firmly focused on the chessboard. But we are off, ladies and gentlemen. Round 11 of Tata Steel, and we've had a lot of Boko Indians with an early check on b4 prevailing in this tournament, but Jan sticking to traditional waters. A Rogozin, a Queen's Gambit declined. This position has also featured prominently.
I also feel like right behind the players today, in some of the earlier rounds, and Jan, there's a handshake there, so Jan is showing respect to some of the players who are in attendance, who are maybe not competing on their own, but you know, they always show up in Wijk. It's a true festival.
Rogozin himself.
And you see Jan, he takes that drink. It's still early going here, but for Anish Giri, what do you think he's aiming for down there with the white pieces? He wants to catch up to the players a half point ahead of him. Is he really going to go for a slugfest against someone as strong as Jan, or is he just going to take it as it comes?
I think Anish is not really someone who plays outside of the confines of his style. There's no reason for him to burn all of his bridges. You know, this is not a candidate's qualifying tournament. So Anish is going to play what he's comfortable with. I think his first priority is to eliminate crazy amounts of risk, and here we see a very fashionable line that featured earlier in this tournament, c takes d4, which has been all of the rage. Robert, I think in the game, which game featured this line? Queen takes d4, and now c takes d5, but there was a check on a4 by Max Sudler earlier in the tournament.
Yeah, Max Vormadam has been playing this from the black side, which actually could give Anish some opening knowledge here. Anish worked with Max Vormadam. Max was a second for Anish, a trainer for him. So the fact that he has all this experience studying with Max, playing training games against him, this could really help Anish as he tries to take down Jan when Jan chooses this familiar opening.
Now, I think for people who might be seeing this for the first time, I think it's worth illustrating some of the subtleties and some of the options available at Wyk's disposal. So if we rewind a couple of moves here after c takes d4, maybe I'm hallucinating, but queen a4 check is what Max Sudler played. That's kind of the greedy option. That's the quote-unquote refutation of the line. But as a result, you give Black a big development advantage, and this is exactly the kind of line that Anish tends to avoid with the white pieces. Queen a4 check. Now I think Black tends to play bishop d7. Queen takes d4. How does this line go? E takes d5.
Yep.
And
then you keep swapping on d5, but Black has this huge lead in development because the white queen moves about so much. And as you point out, queen a5 check will force the white knight back to c3, and the black knight gets to c6, and everything is coming out with tempo.
Yes, this is exactly how you lose in 7 moves. I mean, Parham almost lost in 7 moves.
a rook c3 type of move. You don't even know what file I'm going to go to. Will I go to the e file? Will I go to the b file? Will I go to the g file for a potential attack? Maybe I'll stop on f3 in some positions. So I think that there are mysterious moves that white can make, but that still have a clear purpose and going after the black side of things.
Yeah, I like rook c3 quite a bit. I think we should file that move away as a potential candidate move. But yeah, I really pulled a lot of rank to get permission to make that pawn. No, I think Anish, if you showed him this position before the game and you said, how do you like it? He would love it. Black is out of counterplay. Of course, it's still a 3-result game. I think it's way too early to say that, oh, you know, white has no losing chances. There's always losing chances. Trust me, I know. But Jan is going to be uncomfortable here. And the clock is not a consideration in this game. Unsurprisingly, both players have been managing their time well. So that is not going to be the deciding factor. It's a relatively simple position. I think the deciding factor is going to be, can Anish find a way to tighten the screws? Whether it's a slow move like h3 or a multi-purpose move like rook c3, this is a critical moment, and I think we can expect Anish to take a good chunk of time here.
I'll just add on that rook e1 to e5. I think putting that rook on that square, it freezes black, and you can double rooks in the e file, and at some point consider pushing your pawns, g3, f4, maybe f5, use the pawn as a battering ram. I just think that white's position is easy to play. I don't see a plan for black, so I was getting fancy and funny with rook c3, but rook e1 seems like the best move to an open line. So let's head away from here, as both players do have the necessary time on their clock to